Alexandria.
Hey.
We were wondering if we could get yesterday's assignments. We weren't in class.
Of course you can. Did you check in Moto?
I mean, I did.
Lauren
didn't.
Uh-huh. Just sit down. Move like molasses. Take your time.
Gosh.
It's your lucky day. We started talking about the Battle of Midway, and we're doing some mapping.
Oh, gosh.
Is he serious?
Oh, I'm serious.
Why do we need a map?
Let's get to work.
Hi,
Hey.
we were wondering if we can get extra help from yesterday.
Of course.
We were confused on the last part. I'm wondering if you could help us, please, if you have time.
Of course. Come over to my desk. We square away.
Sorry, I can't.
Kids, I don't mean to be a helicopter, but this is kind of important. Let's get to work. I said, this is important. Let's get to work.
Okay, but I don't see what's so important about the Battle of Midway.
That's probably because you weren't paying attention, Major, and you just don't understand the battle.
How important could a 4-day battle possibly be?
You would know if you weren't missing class to go play volleyball in 4-day tournaments.
What are you talking about?
If you want to learn about the battle, maybe you should just live through it.
What do you mean?
Just wait.
You guys made him mad.
Oh my god.
Wait, what's happening? I still need help with the map.
Mr. Alexandria, what are you doing? Just keep the lights off.
Just wait.
Okay, what's happening?
What's that sound? Let's follow it.
Where are we? I just wanted to sleep.
Yeah, where are we? Obviously, none of us know where we are, so asking that won't help.
Listen to me. We should follow it.
Yeah, let's follow the weird sound of the strange place we're in, Maher.
Okay, let's just follow it and see where it goes.
What's this?
It looks like an old record player.
Really? I thought it was a new CD player.
Shut up. Guys, just listen. It might help.
Hi, you have now entered the Battle of Midway because you made Mr. Alexandria upset. How dare you upset him? So now you're screwed and stuck in here until you complete the 5 levels and win the Battle of Midway. The levels will get harder as you go along. Below, you will find your character cards. Your strengths and weaknesses will be displayed on the cards. So, best of luck on winning the Battle of Midway. Don't lose.
You kidding me? I don't want to do this.
We should have just done our work like we were supposed to.
Oh my god. Wait, I think those are the cards they're talking about.
Frank Jack Fletcher? Frank Jack Fletcher. Strengths. Operational commander. Political expert. Military. Weakness. Lazy. Impulsive.
Chester Nimitz?
Chester Nimitz. Strengths: leadership, strategist, military. Weaknesses: non-friendly, egotistical.
Raymond A. Spruance?
Raymond A. Spruance. Strengths: military, demanding, problem solver. Weakness: uncaring, nonchalant.
Sophie B. Hawkins? Sophie B. Hawkins. Strengths: creative, optimistic, intelligent. Weaknesses: unassertive, naive.
Rosie the Riveter?
Rosie the Riveter. Strengths: feminist, strong-willed, charismatic. Weakness: sarcasm. Feminist?
Guys, I guess this is who we are.
I guess that's why we're all matching.
Wait, we're all matching? And you didn't tell us?
I was kind of worried about where we were.
Okay, well, let's just figure this whole thing out so we can get out of this thing.
You have now started level 1.
California, I've
Can
been
you hear that?
blue.
Someone's singing. It's coming from the aircraft carrier USS Yorktown, which is heading towards the Battle of Midway from Pearl Harbor. To complete this level, identify the song, who is singing the song, and why it is being sung. To earn an extra hint, create a dance number to the song. Remember, review your character cards. Good luck!
Well, I'm an admiral, so it's probably not me.
Sophie B. Hawkins is a composer, so it's probably me.
Okay, but do you even know the song?
Yeah, I do actually. It's called California Here I Come, and it was originally composed in 1924. It's actually called the unofficial state song of California.
Well, at least we know one thing. It sounded like more than one person was singing it, like a choir, but like full of boys.
Why would a choir be on an aircraft carrier?
I got it. It's because instead of a choir, it's the soldiers who are singing.
Wait. But why California? Why would they be singing about going home to California when they're actually going away to fight?
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know.
Well, actually that makes sense because in order to win the war, the United States relied on the element of surprise.
Exactly. So the Americans played the song so that they could trick the Japanese that they were going to the mainland.
Oh, okay. So the answer is that the song is called California Here I Come. It was sung by the soldiers who were going to Midway, and they sang about California because they wanted to trick the Japanese into thinking that they were going home, but they were actually going to fight.
Yeah, so that's it.
Yeah, we got it.
Uh-huh. Level 1 complete.
Yay! Oh my gosh, we got it! Calm down.
That was literally just the first level. It's probably the easiest one.
We have like 4 more to go.
But we got it.
When the wintry winds start blowing and the snow is starting to fall, then my eyes turn westward knowing that's the place that I love best of all. California, I've been blue since I've been away from you. I can't wait till I get going. Even now, I'm starting to call. Oh, California, here I come. Right back where I started from. Where bowers of flowers bloom in the spring. Each morning at dawning birdies sing, and everything a sun-kissed miss said, don't be late. That's why I can hardly wait. Open up that golden gate, California, here I come.
You have now reached level 2. In order to complete this level, it is all hands on deck as Americans head into the Second World War after the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. There is a shortage of workers at home front. You must create a way to encourage women to enter the workforce. Hint: review your character cards. Good luck! Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure this level is meant for me.
No. I'm pretty sure it's meant for me.
Really? I'm pretty sure it says feminist right here. You know what? Instead of arguing, everyone work together to complete the level.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. I guess I agree with Louise.
Stop arguing!
Wait. I think Mr. Alexandri said something. To the use of propaganda, they used it to convince people to work at the home front.
Yeah, and Rosie the Riveter was propaganda that was used to convince women to work in the workforce. How did I know that?
Look at your character card.
That makes so much sense because Sophie B. Hawkins is a composer and I knew about music.
So we're turning into our character? Okay, we don't have time to worry about this. So we have to find the original Rosie the Riveter and create the propaganda for her.
Lauren,
What?
you are Rosie the Riveter.
I can't do that.
Yeah, we can do this.
You know, wait, I like that. We can use that for our slogan. Okay, wait, how are we gonna do that? Wait, I've got it. The Riveter was the STAR campaign aimed at recruiting female workers for defense industries during World War II. She became perhaps the most iconic image of working women. American women entered the workforce in unprecedented numbers during the war. Between 1940 and 1945, the female workforce increased by 27 to almost 37%. By the end of 1945, nearly 1 out of 4 women worked outside the home. May 1942, Congress instituted the Women's Auxiliary Army Corps. Its members, known as WAC, worked in more than 200 non-combat jobs stateside and in every theater of war. Some claim that Rosie was really me, Roswell Monroe. I worked as a riveter at the Willow Run bomber plant near Detroit. The most credible claim is Naomi Parker Fraley, photographed working in Naval Air Station with a bandana in 1942. I know those facts give me a fat headache.
Was that the campaign?
I'm assuming that works for propaganda.
Guys, I'm still kind of confused though. So we know what was going on with America, but what was going on with Japan socially at this time?
Okay, but we don't have to know that.
You're right, they never mentioned anything about that.
Well, let's solve it for extra points.
Okay. Level 2 complete.
You have now reached level 3. An act was passed on March 11, 1941, called the Lend-Lease Act, which supplied the U.S. military to aid foreign nations during World War II. This policy was terminated overnight without prior warning when the war against Japan ended. In order to complete this level, discover what the reason was for canceling the act and what nations benefited from issuing the act. Hint, look at your character cards. Good luck.
I have no idea what that means, but it sounds like a political problem to me.
Wait a minute, Meher, isn't that one of your strengths?
Strengths? What does that even mean?
Look at your character card. What does it say?
It says that my strength is politics.
Perfect. Lead the way, Admiral.
Finally, I get to be in charge for once. I'm Admiral Fletcher, and I'm going to be telling you guys about the Lend-Lease Act. The Lend-Lease Act was a policy passed by the United States Congress to supply the U.S. military to aid foreign nations. This act allowed President Roosevelt to transfer arms or any other defense materials to Britain, China, Soviet Union, and other allied nations. It gave them food and oil. It also provided them with warships, warplanes, and other weaponry. A total of $50 billion was involved. The budget was hidden away in the overall military budget, and details were not released until after the war with Japan was ended. That was exhausting.
Is this gonna happen every time?
I hope not.
Wait, guys, where's Lauren?
She's still gone. Go look for her.
Okay, good you're here. I figured out some things about Japan. I wrote it down. So Japan's government went a whole different way convincing their citizens to help out in the war. They manipulated them in totally weird ways. People wrote last letters to families, teachers, and friends saying that they are driven by obligations to sacrifice themselves. There was a cultural value, I guess, of gratitude embedded in the Japanese culture and society. They believed that they had to live their lives to the emperor and country. And that's all I got.
So maybe I should go find out some things that happen in Japan politically too.
You can help out with this level?
Yeah. Okay, I'll go get them.
Oh, and while you're at it, go look for Christine.
Okay.
6.5 hours later.
Guys, listen up. Okay, so I found out what was going on with Japan at this time. I wrote it down. Okay, so while the United States was struggling with the Great Depression, Japan was also going through their own phase of depression because they just ended the war with China in 1939. And then the war against the United States began in 1941, and the nation entered a total war. And because of that total war, the government was unable to gain control of the economy, so the government of Japan became more of a, I would say, authoritarian government rather than a what is it called?
Totalitarian?
Yeah, totalitarian government, and since that's more similar to Hitler and Germany, that was creating a problem for the government. Level 3 complete.
Hi, you have now reached Level 4, the first part of the Battle of Midway. This 4-day battle contains 2 different parts. Here, your teamwork skills will be tested as well as your knowledge of the Battle of Midway. Your first task is to figure out why this battle took place and why Midway was selected. Good luck! Remember, look at your character cards.
So, why is this even important?
Well, maybe if you paid attention in class, you would know.
I do pay attention, I just pick and choose.
If you pay attention, then please tell us what you know.
Isamamata Yakaraka.
You mean Isoruku Yamamoto?
Yeah, same thing.
No, he was a Japanese admiral for the Navy during the Battle of Midway. Okay, but why is that important for this battle?
Wait, during your level, didn't we find out that the attack on Pearl Harbor occurred before the Battle of Midway?
Okay, I remember that, but why is that important for this level?
Because of the attack on Pearl Harbor, U.S. and Japan were already at war. Japan wanted total dominance over the Pacific, but the U.S. wouldn't allow it.
I know that Japan won that battle, but wait, we're fighting for the United States.
Why does that even matter?
Well, if Japan won last time, what makes you think that we'll win this time?
Yamamoto had a battle plan to take out whatever U.S. fleet comes to help Midway support, but he wanted to surprise attack them.
Well, during my level, we learned that surprise attacks are the way lead to victories in war. So why don't we surprise attack them before they get a chance to?
Yeah, that's a good idea, but let's come back to that. We need to get through this level. Why was Midway even selected?
Where even is Midway located?
Wait, it's like near Pearl Harbor.
He chose to invade Midway because it was a target relatively close to Pearl Harbor. The admiral wanted to draw out the American fleets so that they would be able to plan when the U.S. will start its counterattack. The Japanese would soon be prepared to destroy them.
So isn't this level complete? We learned why the battle was fought and why Midway was selected.
Your level is now partially complete. Now that you've successfully completed your first task of this level, now you must use a map and show how the geography of the Battle of Midway was important. Good luck! Look at your character cards.
Are you kidding me? We didn't even get through this level?
Well, I mean, it did say the levels were going to get harder, and since this level's actually about the battle, I'm pretty sure it's going to take longer to solve.
So, were all the other levels just helping add up to this point? And like giving us hints about the battle?
That makes sense. So since we had an expert that taught us how to solve each level, who's in charge of these ones?
Well, the ones to the left are Carly ones.
I'm pretty sure this one's meant for Carly because she's been solving most of this on her own.
I'm very experienced, and one of my strengths is solving problems.
So do you know the geography as well?
I think you should teach us through map.
Okay, but don't teach it like Mr. Alexander does. It's so boring.
It's the most efficient and easiest way of teaching geography.
For once, I agree with Mayher. That's what got us into this whole mess. He was talking about maps, and all I could think about was naps.
Okay, don't blame Carly and me for your problems.
If Louise and Carly are the only ones left, they should be in charge.
Okay, so we all need to get it together and let Carly lead this one.
Come on, follow me, I'll teach you guys.
The Battle of Midway is a naval battle between the U.S. and Japan. This battle followed the Battle of the Coral Sea, which occurred a month earlier for a halted Japanese expansion. The Japanese Admiral Isoruku Yamamoto wanted to force a decisive clash in the Pacific before U.S. industrial power was fully mobilized against Japan. The location chosen was Midway Atoll, for it was a small, solitary island northeast of Hawaii, which is near where the attack on Pearl Harbor occurred. Yamamoto knew the U.S. would defend the Midway Atoll, For if he failed, the Japanese aircrafts would be able to invade Hawaiian Islands in a matter of weeks. He knew the U.S. Pacific aircraft carriers would dispatch in order to defend the islands, luring the U.S. into a trap to destroy them. The occupation of Midway was strategic because it would help the Japanese push their defensive perimeter after the Doolittle raid. Level 4 complete.
You have now reached Level 5. Level 5 consists of 2 parts. Your first task is to figure out the tactics that both the US and Japan used during the Battle of Midway. Good luck. Reminder, look at your character cards.
Tell me why that was the least amount of instructions we've been given so far.
So it shouldn't be that hard, right?
You're so stupid. It said the levels are gonna get harder as we go along. You probably just jinxed us.
Knock on wood.
What are you doing?
Okay, so I don't think that this level is going to be that hard since I already know the tactics for the US.
What about Japan then?
Yeah, that I do not know.
So how are we gonna solve this level?
So I was thinking maybe we could use some of our extra hints to help us out.
Yeah, maybe we can use it to figure out the rest of this level.
Why would we do that? I
Well-
mean, how would it help?
If we figure out what else we need to do, it can help us figure out this level.
I still don't understand.
I get it. Lewis is trying to say that if we skip this level and move on to the next, it might help us with our current level.
Oh, it makes sense now.
Use hint? Yes or no?
Yes.
Where are we? Why are we in the water? Oh my gosh, Louise, why'd you put us here?
The hint put us too far in. We don't know what we're
The
doing.
hint you have chosen to select has been put into effect. You have all been transported to the middle of the battle. You have 2 choices. Stay where you are and try to complete the battle, or restart back to the beginning of the battle. Choose wisely. Remember, your fate is in the hands of Chester Nimitz.
Tata, we can do it! Let's just listen to Louise because she's Chester Nimitz.
I don't care as long as we get out of here. Okay, final decision. We are going back to the beginning of the battle.
Wait, what about what I think?
Not again.
Okay, all we need to do is figure out the tactics for both sides. I know that we, the US, felt threatened by Japan, so all we need to do is surprise attack them before they can.
How do we know when Japan's gonna attack us though?
Well, not because Mr. Alexander is a good teacher or anything, more like because I'm a brilliant student. I remember he said something about the Japanese communicating through radios.
Wow, you actually paid attention for once?
Maybe we can tune into the radios.
Well, if the Japanese are using radios, all we need to do is translate the code that they're using.
Do you know how to get to the Japan's airways though?
Yeah, let's go.
AF.
Okay, I didn't understand any of that.
All I heard was AF. What is even that supposed to mean?
It has to be a code for something.
AF? Doesn't that mean as funk?
Whoa, language. Hold on, let me think.
Remember when Alexandria taught us that Japanese communications kept referring to a location code named AF? The Navy figured that it was Midway, but in order to be sure, a code breaker suggested a plan to pretend that a water distillation plant had broken down. Later on, eavesdroppers heard AF was short of running water, and then they knew for sure AF was short for Midway.
That's perfect. So now all we have to do is listen to when and where Japanese is going to attack, so we can attack first.
Wait, guys, did you say AF was important?
We're not just listening to our entire conversation.
Okay, well, come here. They just said AF like 1 billion times. Listen.
Hit AF, 630.
Okay, now we know when and where they're going to attack, so we have to beat them to it. I have to secretly reinforce the air units on Midway using the island as an unsinkable aircraft carrier. Seagoing carriers are positioned to the northeast of the island, waiting to ambush the Japanese carriers when they arrive for their assault. The American tactics relied on their particular Characteristics of carrier warfare. Nimitz knew the first attack would be decisive for either side, carriers being full of fuel and ordnance, hence highly vulnerable to bombs and torpedoes.
Your fate will be in the hands of Chester Nimitz. The Admiral will guide you to the end of this game. Your goal is to put yourself in the position of the U.S. during the Battle of Midway. You will complete this task by reenacting the battle. Good luck. At 6:30 a.m. on June 4th, 1942, the USS Enterprise gets into position while a force of Japanese aircraft tear into the American base. At 7 a.m., reports on the attack reaches the Enterprise and the U.S. prepares for their launch. Before 11, USS Yorktown gets into the sight of the Japanese. Then dive bombers from Enterprise and Yorktown directly hit the Japanese ship. Admiral Yamamoto's plan to trap American carriers failed because he was overconfident and the U.S. came out with a victory. This major defeat for Japan was 6 months after the war with the U.S. started, which was almost exactly the amount of time Yamamoto predicted that he would lose his power to the U.S. Japan lost 4 carriers, a cruiser, 292 aircraft, and suffered 2,500 casualties. The U.S. lost the Yorktown, the destroyer USS Hammond, 145 aircraft, and suffered 307 casualties. In the end, the Battle of Midway was known as a turning point in the Pacific during World War II because the Japanese Navy knew that they not only lost this battle, but also the war, for they had lost their superiority in naval air power.
Can't believe we actually won.
Guys, we're wearing our normal clothes.
Yeah, she's right. We finished all the levels and the criteria needed to get out of the battle. So why are we still here?
Level 5 complete. You now fully understand the Battle of Midway. Congratulations.
Oh my god! We're done! We won! Yeah! Wait!
Why are we still here?
Well, how did we get here in the first place?
Oh, I got it.
When the wintry winds start blowing and the snow is starting to fall, then my eyes turn westward knowing that's the place that I love best of all. California.
Mr. Alexandria, what the heck?
Oh, good. You're in time for the quiz.